Take me back to how you developed the idea for the Freedom Fertility movement, in effect. What inspired you to start it all and why?
When I really kind of found out that my best friend Sarita was having such a difficult time with her fertility journeys, and she kind of goes, I can't be bothered to talk about stuff. When I'm with you, I want to enjoy stuff. And then I started to see kind of just how much of an impact it was having. And at the time I happened to see this training for hypnofertility. That's where my interest in working with fertility started. I trained in that to help her, and just amazingly, she ended up getting pregnant. She has had 2 children, both conceived naturally. Then she started telling friends about me, and I started working with them. The very first thing that actually happened was that we were able to start getting them to a place where they were enjoying their lives again. So I wanted to look at a way to make sure that from the moment I was working with clients, that I could start them on a journey that was going to be useful, but we weren't specifically and only working on getting them pregnant, because I felt that that way you can't be successful with everyone. So I wanted to look for a way that I could work with some people and bring them such joy, and work with others and potentially not have them leaving in a way that I would want them to leave as a client.
So how have people really reacted en masse then? Are you finding people are at all suspicious about it, or is there a science behind it?
There is science behind a lot of the work that we do, because the Freedom Fertility Formula is a kind of unique blend, if you like, of coaching, counselling and mind-body connection techniques. I look at each unique person in front of me. I listen to the stories coming through from the fertility specialists, healing and transforming and getting their lives back on track, and that's what I care about.
And do you think husbands and men generally are taking part in all this?
They'd often come to the first one just to make sure this was something useful, and then occasionally through working with a woman, like she would say, I think this would be useful for my partner, and he would come along as well. This is something that is very much about everybody's unique journey that they're on and how it's impacting on them emotionally and what we can do about that.
I noticed that you kind of suggest to everybody to have a daily pep talk. Talk us through how that helps and what sorts of things you encourage people to say.
The daily pep talk I particularly love. It takes 3 minutes. I think about kind of who I want to be that day. Simply just making a statement at the beginning of the day. So it doesn't have to be big stuff. So for example, simply saying I am the sort of person who gets up in the morning and does yoga. It helps with the motivation. It could be I am the person who is going to smile all day today. And then conscious intending is doing a little kind of quick run through the day, imagining it how we want it to be. When it happens that our day is panning out as we want, it's great. We have what I then call the third part is conscious gratitude. When someone's in a really difficult place, dealing with a lot of upset, it can actually be really negating their feelings to say to them, oh, be grateful. It's much better to kind of move to this place of accepting where we are as quick as we can so that we can move on in a positive way.
It is about conscious thought, isn't it? It's about thinking positively, in effect.
We have too much these days of a focus on thinking positively without any kind of regard for making sure that we've listened to the difficult feelings. We're told that anger is bad, but actually it's aggression that's bad. What I've done is I've created something called conscious emotional processing. All it cares about is making sure we're safe. But that part of us is still the thing that's got the biggest hold over us with regards to the actions we take. How
have the medical profession reacted to how you are teaching people? Do they welcome it?
There's been 2 particular clinics that have very much welcomed the work that we're doing. They are actually sending clients to Freedom Fertility Specialists because they see their clients do have this emotional struggle. They don't necessarily have the ability to support them in the way that they need. My first thing was to get other people involved in this mission, so that I would say so we can wrap our care around the world. You know, there's 90 of us at the moment, predominantly in the UK, but you know, we have specialists in America and Canada and Mexico, all over the place.
I'm a Freedom Fertility Formula specialist, and I support individuals and couples who are trying to conceive and through fertility treatment pathways. I support around emotional well-being so that you can feel calm, confident and emotionally in control.
I've trained with the Freedom Fertility Formula. I've had some case study clients and I'm in the process of attracting more. So I spent a lot of time healing myself so that I can then help others.
Having what they consider now secondary infertility, they don't know why I cannot get pregnant again. Or again, all the tests are fine. So that's when I decided to become a fertility specialist. So did the training with Dany.
So the coaching work that I've done has come more to the forefront, with treatment being stopped and then started and new restrictions, and even the fact that now people are worried that they're going to be too old to be eligible for treatment. So that emotional support is a big part of what has changed in my world in terms of what I want to be putting out and into the work I do.
So actually I've trained as a Freedom Fertility Formula specialist with Dany Griffiths. The impact as a physical therapist by training to now be able to affect and change people's fertility outcomes with the power of words and the techniques, and helping them sort of change things in their lives.
It's interesting you're talking about worldwide, because we often view different countries as having kind of different personalities, really. And the Americans often seem to me to kind of embrace what may be slightly different ways of looking at things. Which country have you found the most interesting to work with?
I can't say specifically. I'm finding that working with one particular country makes a difference. It is the person that comes and being passionate about this work. So we have got the most amazing community within the Freedom Fertility Formula because of all these wonderful backgrounds and these stories and everything they're sharing.
You know, fertility problems are common to everyone, whoever you are, wherever you are, and whatever you do. So it's amazing and a very positive thing to hear that the work you're doing is being taken seriously. COVID has added a whole extra level of stress. How much harder is it for people going through a fertility struggle at the minute because of that?
I've heard quite different things, generally noticing in different groups that I'm in, the very kind of different ways people are responding to this. And it does bring me back to everyone wants to be dealt with as a unique person.
Why do you think it's taken so long for somebody like you to come along with this amazing concept that really, to me, I would say, having been through a journey, it's essential. I think doctors should say, if you're going to do IVF, you need to have this sort of counselling or help in the run up to get yourself in a really positive frame of mind, because it is grueling, isn't it?
One of my Freedom Fertility Formula specialists, we actually met because she had put out a petition about the impact on mental health of a difficult fertility journey. And she was still on her journey at the time. I asked her what she was doing to get ready for her next round of treatment. And she said a whole load of stuff about the physical. It was like it hadn't occurred to her that there was anything she could do about it. So when it comes to kind of looking at where to spend the money, the most obvious thing is the physical. And the mind-body connection part of that gets lost.
Well, you have obviously spent a lot of time and energy writing your new book. What do you think is the overall message, and how are you going to market it to people? You know, how are you going to get the message across that this is really important, that it isn't just, you know, another counselling book that people should ignore?
Because it's a book, I'm going to be able to introduce it to people in a way that perhaps someone wouldn't if they're looking to work with a Freedom Fertility Formula specialist. I have what I call a compass, the Free Life Compass, which looks at positive pathway planning and negative pathway preventing and living in the now. So right at the end of the book, I've got some examples of people being at fertility despair, and then the success steps that they ended up taking, success steps being these wonderful steps in life. But in terms of the initial launch, to really hopefully get people interested, I'm saying to them, come along, spend 3 weeks with me in a Facebook group, and we'll go through the book together. But effectively, they're going to go through these powerful tools with me supporting them for the price of a book.
Dany Griffiths, thank you for talking to me. I can just see you on Oprah. Best of luck with it. I have to say that nobody ever needs to be suspicious of what you're doing. It's genuinely amazing.
Thank you so much.